Oh, look at you. Sitting there as if life is just another ordinary Tuesday. Coffee traffic, half-awake faces. The same predictable little routine you've walked through 1,000 times. But today has a pulse you haven't noticed yet. A secret grin hiding in the shadows of your schedule. Isn't it funny how victory always shows up when you stop expecting it? How life loves to play quiet right before it shouts. People think winning feels loud. They imagine fireworks, applause, trumpets. No, no, no. It starts silent. It begins like a flicker in your spine, a whisper in your bones. Something's coming. You can feel it, can't you? The restlessness under your skin, the tiny spark behind your eyes. The world has been poking you, doubting you, stretching you thin, and yet you're still here, a little bruised, maybe, a little tired, but standing, breathing. And that makes you dangerous. Victory arrives when you're no longer chasing it. Funny, isn't it? How life plays its little games. When you're desperate, grasping, clawing at the idea of success, like a starving animal reaching through metal bars, it stays just out of reach, mocking you, teasing you, dancing one step ahead, like it enjoys watching you sweat, cry, break a little each day. You try harder, push harder, scream louder, thinking force alone will open a door that isn't ready to open. And then one day, after all that exhaustion, after all that wrestling with fate, you stop. Not because you gave up, but because you finally understand. You sit still. You breathe. You stop begging the universe like it owes you something. You stop chasing and start becoming. That's the shift, the beautiful, twisted shift. When hunger turns into certainty, when desire turns into inevitability, when you say, fine, don't give it to me. I'll build myself until I don't need to chase anything. It'll come to me. And suddenly, the world listens. Opportunities you used to chase start circling back, like lost dogs remembering their owner. People who ignored you suddenly squint, confused, wondering when you grew that strange, unsettling confidence. You're no longer running, and yet you're moving faster than ever. You're no longer reaching, and somehow everything starts drifting toward you. It's almost cruel how life does that. It waits until you've broken your ego, until your desperation burns to ashes. It waits until you become quiet, grounded, unbothered, because the universe isn't impressed by panic. It doesn't reward begging. It likes strength disguised as calm. It likes warriors who can sit with empty hands and still believe a throne is being carved for them somewhere. Anyone can chase, but only someone who knows can wait, and you learn that. Slowly, painfully, unpredictably, people thought you stopped trying. They assumed you lost momentum, lost passion, maybe even lost hope. They whispered, see. They weren't going to make it anyway. They confused stillness with surrender. They didn't see the gears turning inside you, the way your thoughts sharpened while your actions paused. They didn't notice you were growing roots instead of reaching for branches. They looked at you the way small minds always look at someone who refuses to panic. Confused and slightly threatened. Because you weren't chasing validation anymore. And oh, nothing scares people more than someone who no longer needs applause to breathe. There's a sort of power that appears in your eyes the moment you realize you don't have to run anymore. A quiet power. Not loud, not dramatic, not desperate. The kind that makes people stop mid-sentence when they look at you. The kind that makes them wonder if you know something they don't. And you do, don't you? You know what's coming. You may not know the shape, the time, the details, but you feel it deep in your bones. That victory isn't running away anymore. It's circling. It's approaching. It's preparing to knock. And when it does, you'll open the door like you expected it. Not like you begged for it. That's how life works. It rewards the ones who survive their own impatience. It crowns those who learn to trust timing more than tension. You stopped chasing because you finally understood that real winners don't sprint toward the finish line. They attract the finish line toward them. And while everyone else scrambles in panic, feeling behind, feeling inadequate, feeling desperate to prove something, you sit there, calm, steady, dangerous in your composure, because you don't need to chase what already belongs to you. You just need to rise to the level where it recognizes you. Victory tastes different when it walks to you instead of you crawling toward it. It tastes earned, not gifted. It feels inevitable, not lucky. And deep down, you always knew you weren't losing. You were aligning. You weren't stuck. You were sharpening. You weren't abandoned. You were being prepared. The waiting was never punishment. It was refinement. And now you sit like someone who already won long before the world claps. Because real victory isn't loud. It doesn't start with cheering crowds. It starts with that quiet moment when you stop chasing and whisper to yourself, "It's already mine. It's just on its way." Ordinary days hide extraordinary turning points. Isn't that the twisted little trick life loves to pull? You wake up yawning, rubbing sleep out of your eyes, scrolling through the same boring messages, brushing your teeth like a tired machine. Nothing dramatic, nothing cinematic, no thunder cracking or mysterious voice booming from the heavens. Just another Tuesday, Thursday, whatever day that always felt like background music. And yet, those are the days life chooses to flip the table. Not the birthdays, not the big celebrations, not the moments you wait for with glitter in your eyes. No, it chooses the plain days, the forgettable days, the ones you'd never think twice about. Why? Because surprise tastes sweeter when you're not bracing for it. Think back. Really think. The shifts in your life. The real ones didn't announce themselves with trumpets. They snuck in while you were tying your shoes or washing a plate. The phone call that changed everything came on a day you almost didn't answer. The decision that shaped you happened while everyone else thought nothing was happening at all. The moment you cracked open or grew didn't arrive wrapped in golden light. It came disguised as ordinary. That's the joke. Life hides magic in moments we don't bother to look at. And while everyone waits for the right time and the special moment, the universe chuckles and slips destiny into the everyday people always expect transformation to feel loud, grand, dramatic. They think success walks in wearing glitter and stomping boots. But real change, real breakthrough, it's quiet, almost suspiciously quiet. Like a whisper brushing past your ear when you're too distracted to hear it. Like a seed splitting underground before anyone sees the flower. Life builds its biggest moments the same way morning sneaks in. Slow, gentle, unnoticed until suddenly the whole sky is bright, and you didn't even realize when the darkness disappeared. 1 minute you're just existing, and the next moment, without warning, everything feels like it was leading here all along, but here's where it gets interesting. Most people sleepwalk through these days. They drag themselves from task to task, treating their routine like a prison and their hours like a burden. Nothing special ever happens to me. They cry while blindfolding themselves to the door that's cracking open behind them. They want fireworks before they believe. They want confirmation before they try. They want certainty before they move. But life doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards presence, awareness, the ability to recognize tiny sparks before they become roaring flames. Most people wait for the moment to be big before they treat it like it matters. But winners, oh no. Winners treat even the smallest moment with attention. Because they know the small becomes big. When you're not looking, there's a certain thrill in understanding this. A certain quiet power in waking up and thinking, today, this simple day, could be the one everything shifts. Not in a delusional way, not in a desperate chasing way, in an amused, sharpened, slightly dangerous way. A little smirk under your breath, a little spark in your eye. You move differently when you know life hides gifts in plain sight. You hold your posture like the world owes you a secret, not entitled, aware, alive. Waiting like a chess player who knows the board always changes, just not when the opponent expects it. And the funny part, when you start expecting the unexpected starts showing up more. Momentum loves confidence. Opportunity loves readiness. Fate loves someone who treats every hour like it might be the hour. People think belief comes after the moment. No, it comes before. The universe doesn't drop miracles into hands that aren't open. It doesn't shout at those who don't listen. It rewards the ones who look closely at life, who don't sleep through their days like sheep herded by routine. It rewards the ones who grin at the quiet and think, anything could happen right now. And if it does, I'll be ready to catch it. So here you are, breathing through another ordinary day. Except it isn't. Not really. You feel something, don't you? That tiny strange hum under your ribcage. That flicker. That restlessness. That whisper you can't explain. The world is pretending it's just a regular day, but you know better. You sense the shift in the air like a storm waiting politely behind the clouds. And that feeling, that electric suspicion, isn't delusion. It's alignment. It's intuition. It's life leaning forward, grinning like it's about to tap you on the shoulder, while everyone else is staring at their feet. Because the biggest wins don't wait for special days. They turn ordinary moments into unforgettable ones when you least expect it. Persistence builds miracles in secret. That's the trick nobody likes to talk about. People adore the highlight reel, the flashy moment someone, suddenly, wins, the grand reveal where applause erupts and the world pretends it always believed. But persistence. Persistence is ugly. Persistence is lonely. Persistence is quiet and gritty and unglamorous, like someone digging through dirt with bleeding fingers while everyone else walks by pretending not to see. You want miracles. They don't show up to loud crowds and dramatic speeches. They grow underground, in silence, in sweat, in those dim hours where nobody cheers and nobody cares think about it. The world claps for the moment you rise, but it never watches the hours you spent crawling. It loves the firework, ignores the spark. It celebrates the victory, forgets the bruises. Persistence isn't poetic. It's stubbornness with a heartbeat. It's waking up on days when hope feels like a joke. It's dragging yourself forward when your emotions are throwing tantrums. It's doing the work when your motivation is face down in the dirt gasping. And oh, how amusing it is that everyone wants success, but nobody wants the repetition, the boredom, the discipline that tastes like metal in your mouth and weighs like concrete on your spine. People think miracles are loud, sudden, magical. Poof, you win. But real miracles, they're made like scars, slowly, deeply, painfully, layer by invisible layer. You don't notice the progress day by day. It's microscopic, humiliatingly slow. You question yourself. You curse the process. You wonder if you're delusional for trying. You bargain with the universe like it owes you something for trying so hard. But persistence isn't about feeling like it's working. It's about continuing even when you're convinced it isn't. That's the punchline. Progress doesn't feel like progress until one day you blink and realize you've become the person you used to fantasize about while wiping tears off your chin. And meanwhile, the watchers, the spectators, whisper, "Why are they still trying? Shouldn't they have results by now? Maybe they're wasting their time." That's the chorus of mediocrity, background noise, cheap commentary from people who quit on themselves and hope you do too, so they feel less guilty. They don't hate your effort. They hate what your effort says about their lack of it. They want proof before they believe. You build the proof, quietly, patiently, like a storm forming far from the shore. Unnoticed until lightning cracks, and suddenly everyone panics, wondering how they miss the warning signs. Persistence isn't loud, because loud things break easily. It's quiet because quiet things last. Quiet builds roots, not just branches. Quiet doesn't chase applause. It creates inevitability. Every tiny step you take while nobody watches piles up. Every tired but still trying. Every not motivated but disciplined. Every failed again but standing again becomes bricks in a foundation too heavy to collapse. Suddenly, you don't need permission to exist. You don't need encouragement to continue. Persistence gives you a spine where others only had wishes. Wishes are lovely, but they evaporate. Persistence digs its teeth in, and refuses to let go. Even when logic begs it to, here's where the miracle part begins. Not at the finish line, no. Miracles begin the moment you keep going after your excuses sound convincing. That's when the universe takes you seriously. That's when fate starts leaning in. You don't get miracles for wanting. You get them for refusing to stop. And then one ordinary day, oh how delicious, the results show up, the breakthrough hits, the momentum explodes. And everyone gasps, where did that come from? You know where? From the nights you didn't quit. The days you kept moving while doubt wrapped its cold fingers around your throat. The mornings you dragged your weary bones off the floor because something in you whispered. Again, they'll call it sudden. They'll call it destiny. They'll call it lucky. Let them. The truth sits quietly in your chest like a secret grin. You earned every inch by surviving the parts nobody applauded. Miracles don't fall from the sky. They rise from the dirt you refuse to stay buried in. And just like that, persistence, the thing everyone mocked, becomes the very thing that builds a life they'll wish they had. The world wants instant magic. You discovered the real trick. Slow, relentless pressure. Silent warfare with your weaknesses. And the unshakable, rebellious decision to keep going, even when the universe pretends not to notice. Because it notices. Just not until you've proven you won't quit when nobody's watching, then one day, you simply stopped caring. Not in a bitter way, not the angry kind of, I don't care. No, you discovered the elegant version, the peaceful indifference, the inner shrug, where their cheers became background noise and their silence didn't sting anymore. You didn't become cold, you became free. You didn't become arrogant, you became sovereign over your own worth. Funny how they always call it arrogance when someone finally stops begging for crumbs of approval. They mistake self-respect for rebellion. Or maybe they know exactly what it is. They just don't like that you outgrew the cage they were comfortable keeping you. And do you remember when you used to rehearse your reactions? Practice being agreeable. Shape yourself to avoid being misunderstood. You twisted and trimmed pieces of yourself to fit their comfort. You swallowed fire to look harmless. You laughed with people who weren't laughing with you, only at you. Not anymore. Now you see the game. Now you understand the trick. Approval was never love. It was a leash. And all it took was one quiet internal decision. I don't need them to clap for me to keep moving. That's when the leash snapped. That's when you stood up straighter. That's when the room started feeling too small for who you were becoming. And oh, the reactions, the subtle panic, the raised eyebrows. Suddenly they're confused. Why are you so distant? Why don't you tell us everything anymore? Why do you seem different? As if confidence is a disease they're trying to diagnose. They poke at your silence like children poking a sleeping animal, nervous it might wake up and bite. Because deep inside, they fear what you already realized. You never needed them. You allowed them. And allowance is power. Now you walk into rooms without shrinking. You make decisions without polling the audience. You don't broadcast your plans like confetti hoping someone applauds. You move in silence, not because you're hiding, but because you don't require witnesses to validate your steps. That terrifies people. Some flee, some cling, some suddenly admire you. Funny, isn't it? The same people who ignored your whisper now chase your calm. The same ones who doubted you now lean in like you hold secrets. Power shifts quietly, and it always starts inside. And it's not that applause is bad. It's simply no longer your fuel. You work because you choose to. You rise because you refuse not to. You speak because your voice belongs to you, not to the crowd. If someone claps, nice. If they don't, you'll build anyway. You'll rise anyway. You'll thrive anyway. And nothing unsettles the world like someone who can't be bribed with praise or destroyed with silence. They can't puppeteer you. They can't seduce you with flattery, shame you with disapproval, manipulate you with attention. You stopped being entertainment and became intention. You stopped needing witnesses and became your own proof. They always say the loud ones are dangerous, but they're wrong. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who smiles quietly, moves deliberately, and knows their value without needing anyone to echo it back. The one who walks like they've already decided they belong. The one who no longer chases affection, validation, or understanding. The one who claps for themselves in empty rooms and keeps building anyway. That's you now. Not loud, not desperate, not waiting to be chosen. You became the one who chooses. And nothing frightens the world more than someone who refuses to be controlled by applause, because applause is the world's easiest leash. And you walked off stage mid-performance with your head high, as if you finally understood the oldest secret they hoped you'd never learn. You never needed the audience to begin with